Guys, it's Trevor. Just going to be showing you how I check my gear coming from my locker on the bay floor for the morning. This is just the tip of the iceberg and kind of how I get my day started with my gear. I always start top, work my way down. So start with my helmet. Make sure I have my 2 cherry bombs on. Make sure I have a nail in my helmet for door control here. I'll check my helmet strap. Make sure it's on there tight. Run it a little bit. I keep this all preset. Make sure my flaps are stuffed. I have everything set up how I like here, so I'm good to move on. Following up to my coat here. My coat, I start out like this. I make sure that I have my 2 working gloves here. While I'm here, I'm going to make sure I have both my door clamps. So my one stays kind of normal like this, and my other one keeps a door chalk and a piece of paracord over there, so I know I got those. So I'm going to go ahead, flip my coat over. All right, so we'll start on this side over here. I've got my gloves. I've got those tied down. I always start off by just throwing them on real quick and making sure that the gloves aren't, if the lining's pulled out or anything weird with them like that. I'm real particular about how I like my gloves, so I always try them on every day to start like this just to make sure they're how I like them. It also gives me an option when I'm doing this to check my glove retainer here, make sure that it's all holding up okay. I've got these tightened down so they won't be going anywhere. Move over to my mask. We have the G1 masks here. I'll start off by kind of looking at the netting here, making sure everything's tied in well enough to the retainer bits here in all 4 parts. I keep my top straps tied down, make sure that's still looking good. I'll look at my face piece here, make sure it's not cracked, make sure I have my nose cuff's how it should be. I'll check this a little more in depth when I go to my air pack check for the day. So I got my mask on my mask bag, so I'm good to move on here. Go to my radio. So when I'm checking my radio, making sure it transmits out of my lapel mic over here. I'm making sure I have a full battery. I'm making sure when I turn channels here, I can hear it clicking over, so I know my radio is in full functioning how it should. Make sure it powers down all the way before I put it back, so I don't lose any battery and kill my radio without knowing. I'm going to move down to my lower pocket here, keep my spare hood in there, and I keep a rescue knife, make sure my knife deploys okay. Alright, moving over to my other side. So make sure my lapel mic is tied down to my coat how I like it. I also kind of keep it ran through my DRD up top here, so I know that that's how it should be. I check my light every day, making sure it runs through all the settings. Perfect. Going down to my closed loop webbing. Check my carabiner that's in here, make sure it's functioning okay. Perfect. So I keep a small loop of my webbing out of my gear, and I keep it around the Velcro pocket here. This allows for it to stay trapped, but not be hanging out of my gear a ton. So if I need this in haste, I can just pull that out really quick, and that works well for me. So my coat's good right now. So we're gonna move on to my hood and pants. Make sure my hood has no holes in it. Make sure the elasticity is still good, looks okay for the day. Always keep it kind of tucked up through here so I know it's not going to go anywhere. Take my suspenders, pull up on them, make sure they're tied in here. Everyone's got different setups for suspenders, just make sure they're tied in okay, make sure they're not falling off on you. Moving over to my right pocket here, I've got my bailout set up, so make sure my carabiner functions properly up here, followed by my figure 8, and then coming down to my secondary carabiner. All my knots are how I like them. I got everything staged how it should be. Put it back. All right, moving over to my left pocket. My left pocket just keeps a small little tool pouch in here. Keep my small pry bar, and I keep a small set of wire cutters in here. Make sure it's open and closed. Make sure the edge is okay. Make sure they're not cracked or anything like that. Still fully usable. So that's going to be the real basics of my gear check. This is just, like I said, coming out of my locker onto the bay floor in the morning. Every time I put my gear on, I always make a small gear check, always checking everything over, always trying to make sure I got everything with me. So I encourage you to check your gear every day. It's really important to stay on that. So if you have any questions, leave a comment, and have a nice day. Thanks.